the journey so far. The cauldron was cold, but the horsemen rekindled its fire, and in the hearts of the makers an ember of hope was born. Hope for life, and for what lies beneath the earth.
Hey there, everybody, it's Kuddlesnot again. I say everybody, hey there people, hey there, guys, hey there, random folk. It's Kuddlesnot. And I'm here with episode 6 of the Darksiders 100%. Darksiders 2, 100%. Apocalyptic / nightmare strategy, whatever, walkthrough. Last episode, we got a bunch of Stonebites and talked to this guy right here. And also explained exactly what Stonebites did and how to turn them in and all that good stuff. This episode, we are going to the Drenchfort. That's what I do. And now we are back on the Xbox 360. Which means that we will be getting the proper achievement indicators. Why am I just running around? Let's fight these guys. These are good proper achievement indicators, but it also means that all the episodes so far have been on the PC, and now I'm back on Xbox 360. All my levels the same. Everything that I've done is the same. The only thing that's different is obviously the items. The items are random, but I've used the same skills, all the stuff, and I'm not paying attention to my fighting, and I'm gonna no more. You're not gonna hit me again. Just as I said, he hits me again. Why don't I use my skills? I don't know. I don't know. There we go. Dodge. Jerk. Move, move. There we go. Okay. 2 more hits. Maybe 3 more hits. And I don't know why it's... Okay. Well, that was way harder than it had to be. But, yeah. Anyway. Let's go do some shit. So there's a couple things we can get here on the way to the Drenchfort. However, as you might already know, a lot of it, or some of it, requires the death grip, which we don't get until later. So we'll be back. But there is some that we get now, and that's what we're going to get. And I shouldn't have to be using these health potions, but I am anyway. Alright, so first thing, you want to come up to kind of this ledge here and shoot us a shadow bomb. Cool. Come on, let go of it. Okay, there we go, Death. Come on. Swim. Swim. Alright. Then hop over, and we get a chest. Uh-oh. And some prowlers to fight. If you time it right, you can use that shadow bomb to, like, explode one of the prowlers, but I just shot it for no particular reason. Okay. Ghoulies coming. Come on, ghoulies. Oh, okay. There we go. Press the one button. Jerks. Good boy, ghoulies. Good boys. Alright, let's go get this chest to chest. Touch. Skull touch face. There we go. Skull touch face. No, we're not getting there. Okay, so we got that now, but down here there's also Boatman Coin number 18. Somewhere. There you are. Okay. Alright. Now, we get to go talk to Vulgrim. There's actually a couple things we can discuss. But first, let's go over here. So this quest, this is the quest, at least one of the ways to start it, where we've been seeing those limbs, those construct limbs lying around. And it's to this guy.
Something's missing.
Unfortunately, we can't wake him up until we get the Maker's Key. So we're going to come back after the Drenchfort. There's also another way you can start that quest, is after you complete the Lost Temple and awake the Warden will say, my brother, or one of my brothers is still around, I can feel his dreams or something, and he'll give you the quest as well. But we'll get the earlier way, the optimized way, and that's just by going right there.
I have new items.
Yes, you do.
If you have the coin.
I do have some coin. Alright. Random elite item. Okay, so He also sells, although not right now, apparently, is for 20 Vulgrim coins and 50,000 gilt is a random possessed weapon. So one person suggested to me that you could use, get a gilded box or a Nate box, and then, or at least a gilded box, and then you can sell it back. Whatever item you get will be probably worth more than 1,000. But I'd say that's a waste of your Vulgrim coins or Boatman coins. Is that they're much more valuable than that, especially later levels. You can get some awesome elite items and then some awesome possessed weapons, and definitely on the New Game Plus. So now we can kind of talk about this stuff in general. So you see, like, I was lucky enough to get a possessed weapon already, but many of you probably won't. Although we'll talk about it after the Drenchfort, after many people should have at least one possessed weapon. Kind of the best way to do it. But in either case, except for some high level white weapons, common weapons, or just like this, that they're not going to be worth that much. They're definitely not going to be worth anything for possessed weapons because they barely level them up at all, and you might as well just get the 50 gilt out of it. So we're going to sell all this stuff. However, something like that $1,000 scythe would. And we'll talk about, again, possessed weapons later in another later episode. But hold on to these things. Hold on to these as well, because all the common, all of the special, enchanted, green, elite, blue, lead on. Hold on to all of those, because you'll want those for your possessed weapons. At least until you kind of figure out exactly what you're going to do. But I can tell you for sure that some of these low-level whites are not worth your time. Anyway, so let's look at... So Vulgrim, you can buy a respec, which is, if you buy it, you can respec, you can redistribute all your skills, and the first time you buy it, you also get an achievement. We're not going to do it right now. We'll do it when we can discuss skills a little bit more in depth, and that's after I have some more skill points at a higher level. You also have these, like I was talking about, random loot boxes. There's also one for possessed weapons. As well, there's also something called a legacy or a sacrificial artifact or just talisman or something. But if you look at it, it says described, and that's for like 25,000. As far as I know, the only purpose of that is to significantly upgrade a possessed weapon without giving it any sort of skills. And that can be useful if you're trying to level it up, but you want a particular skill off a particular weapon that you're sacrificing to it. But again, we'll go into that in a little bit more detail later. For now, we're just going to go up here and get a chesty chest. And this is also... Hello. Yeah, we'll equip you. So our first look at a void portal. Oh, there's one down there. A void plate. For the Void Walker, if you remember from Darksiders 1, there's also a Void Walker, there it is, in Darksiders 2. So we will be back once we get that sucker. No. No. I don't want to go over there. No. Okay. So, before we leave, there's a couple more things we can do. You come up here, and you can see like a Vulgrim coin, and you can see another chest. However, we can only get one chest here right now. We'll come back when we have Death Grip and get the rest of this stuff. I always say Vulgrim coin, but I know it's Boatman coin, but I always say Vulgrim coin because it makes more sense to me. But hey, whatevs. So we're gonna grab this chest now, though. Also, I believe, yeah, we're equipping that. Also, I believe that I mentioned this before, but if I didn't, you can do the Shattered Forge now, if you'd like. The problem is, if you're on Nightmare, there's some really high-level enemies, a lot of like groups of enemies that can be kind of difficult to fight, at least right now. So we'll go back after we level up once or twice in the Drenchfort. And on top of that, there's also a Vulgrim coin right here. And you can grab this anytime. You can't get it while on Despair. I always seem to charge over it, never been able to grab it. Anyway. Okay, so Shattered Forge. So you can go there now, even before you get the side quest. And if you do, that's fine. You'll get the item that you need for the quest. You'll get the okay, where we lots of boonies. You'll get the item for the quest. You'll get the quest to turn it in. Everything will be fine. And you can do everything in there right now. But like I said, you're a little under-leveled if you're on Nightmare, so we're going to hold off. Although there is an easy chest and easy Vulgrim coin you can grab now, but not worth it. Because they'll just waste a little bit of time that you... unless you immediately need a Vulgrim coin, although I don't know why. because we're gonna get, you know, 20 if you really want that possessed weapon. Well, I'm just talking and fighting fail. Okay, level up. Your power is increased. Thank you. Okay, we'll go look. I'll break my rule and we'll do some item management on screen a little bit. Okay, let's go look at our skills. Okay, so one more level, you see the Reaper gauge. One more level, we'll get Reaper form. That's not yet. Right now we're focusing on Arcane. So I got 2 in Exhume, 1 in Undying. So we can either Exploding Ghouls, Innervation, or Shield. Shield would probably help me a lot because I can't really talk and fight very well apparently. Although Death's Allure is really important. But okay, let's level up these ghoulies. Okay. But yeah. Okay, so we're talking about Shattered Forge. We'll go back there soon. And after the Drenchfort, we'll also go to the Weeping Crag for the first time. And then we'll head on to the Lost Temple. Well, that's for a couple episodes later. For right now, we're riding up here. Although we will be back when we have something called the Soul Splitter. Spoilers. I'm not going to exactly explain what that does in case you're just watching along. We can get 2 yummy chests and a Boatman coin right now. So that's what we're going to do. 20. Cool. And, oh, can't forget about the Power Stonebite. And I think that's... What is that? That's number 12? Yeah, that's 12. Let's jump off the cliff. Summon some despair. Stuck on a tree. Damn it. Okay, fine, fine. Jerk of a horse. Jerk horse. Okay. Oh yeah, they're right up around the corner. And right here is limb number 3. Hello, limb. And before we charge up to the Drenchfort, there's one more thing that can easily be missed. I've ridden past it a couple times. And that's Mystic Stonebite. Number 11. Coolio. And now we're at the Drenchfort. Gotta fight some stingers. So, I guess I could talk a little bit about... Sounds like there's something else. Not something else. Okay, I guess I could talk a little about the differences in the versions, because as many of you know, I have all 3. Steam, Xbox 360, and PS3. See, I hear it. Where is it? You are not allowed to live. Oh, there's more coming. A perfect amount of bullets. So I have all 3. The major difference for me has been the controls. Not necessarily in the controller, but for me, a big pet peeve on the PS3 is not being able to use the D-pad and inventory and menus in general, whether that be inventory or like options or whatever. And on the PS3 version, and on this one, to be fair, you can't use the D-pad either. But using the stick is a lot more, natural to me, at least on the 360 in menus. So it's not a big deal for me. On the PS3, you can't use the D-pad, and that frickin' pisses me off. Like, that's like almost a deal breaker for me. I know that's really petty, but yikes. Okay, in terms of glitches and bugs, all the versions seem to have the same glitches and bugs, so there's nothing like ones that are more stable or not. Although the PC version will be getting updates a lot faster because it can do it immediately through Steam without a long approval process from PSN or Xbox Live. So there's always that. Anyway, so we kind of, what we call it, popping, that's what it was. Popping our way up there. Threw out a Stonebite and blew up a statue to get us a construct orb. Cool. Boom. Slotted. And here we go. Ooh, big place. Okay, so before we leave here, there's a couple things we can get. But as I was saying, so controller-wise, that's what. But the other major difference is the Steam will get the updates faster, like I was saying. But also on the PC, the frame rate is much better. I believe on the consoles it's locked at 30 FPS, which is standard, absolutely. And with Book of the Dead page number 5, you can also get it by grabbing and from over there, falling down over there. But I just like falling from right there. And now we're going to get a chest that's down here. But if you have a nice system, you'll be able to get 55, 60 FPS pretty easily. But then the other downside of the PC is that if you're a PC user, you like being able to make all the adjustments you want in order to optimize performance. And there's absolutely none besides resolution. There's no VSync, there's no nothing. And that's a deal breaker for a lot of PC users. So it's kind of up in the air. But definitely my preferred is, because I have an ideal system, my preferred is the PC. Just on top of that, the slower loading times on the consoles, as well as just going to the menu takes longer. On the PC, it's instant. You press the button and you're there. And this, it's like a loading screen, or it takes a couple seconds in order to get into the inventory screen. And across a million playthroughs, I mean, not a million playthroughs, 100 hours, and you're going to that inventory screen, you know, thousands of times, that's really going to add up. But, hey. That's just me. At least those are the differences that I've been seeing. Alright, so we got everything. So we got a Boatman coin. We got a Book of the Dead page. We dropped down here, yes. We got a chest, and now we're about to get a second chest. Ooh. Size of Fire. Yeah, I'll equip those. Like I said, I already have a possessed weapon, but I'm not going to go into those yet, and I'll definitely look at it later when many of you have a possessed weapon. Some of you might already have one. Some of you might already have two. But by the end of Drenchfort, chances are you'll definitely have one, and if not, you'll definitely get one soon. But hey. All right. Here we are in the first tier duct. So we need to release the flow of tiers in 2 different places, 2 different sides of the dungeon, and then we'll have our boss fight. Boss fight's definitely gonna be next episode. This episode we should be able to get through the first tier duct area. And reasons. Oh no, you don't. Oh no, you don't. Who's a bad stinger? You're all bad stingers. That's why I killed you. And whoop. Pop! Stop! Bad. Don't pop. You know, popping. Okay. Popping it, pop. Just popping crazy. Alright, so not so good talisman. Alright, so now before you head through that door, we're gonna head over to this door. This area. And this is actually just like a little bonus area if you don't have the Death Threads pre-order content, but if you do, this is where you need to get like the helmet or whatever for Karn. However, we'll be covering that in a special episode later, because not all of you are going to have Death Ride, so there's no point in covering it here. Whoa! Okay. And this is probably one of actually the tougher fights so far in the game, because it's like, if you don't have that, it's like a mini arena almost, and it actually gives you like, and there's a good chest at the end and stuff, some good items. I don't know if it's one of the tougher fights, but it's definitely one where if you're not careful, you can get overloaded. And those stingers, they're small, but they can do some serious damage, so just keep on moving. You know, we should be getting an earth crack. There we go. While focusing, target and evade. Okay, 1-on-1 again. Thank you. Earth crack. Whoa! Okay, so he has really 2 attacks. He has the charge attack that you dive out of the way, and then that shockwave attack that you have to jump, or kind of evade jump. Don't evade backwards during the charges like that. That doesn't work. Ooh, my Size of Fire, I'm burning him. And I couldn't jump out of that swing. I just keep on jumping backwards. But this is like effectively a mini boss. Dive. There we go. You can't have him crash through the pillars. That apparently does a little bit of damage, but Not a significant amount. Woo! Ooh, what do you drop? What do you drop? What do you drop? What do you drop? Yeah. Oh, it's an arcane. And of course, you know, Death, destroyer of ancient pottery and boxes and crates. Who, you know, because it's always full of nice stuff. There we go. Skull touch face. And ooh. Health on crit, wrath on crit. Nah. Those are only really helpful if you're going for strength and you have a lot of critical up already. Because I'd rather, you know, take an arcane boost or additional damage over just like, oh, you get some health and wrath on crits. Because without those statistical, you know, crit like chance boosters, attribute, you know, editor, whatever you want to call them. Attribute. Yeah, I don't know what the hell's wrong with me. You're not critting enough that will benefit you over additional damage. And as for secondary weapons, definitely everyone's going to have their own preference. And for me, it's like whatever's the best one I have is the one I'm going to use. Although certain enemies in certain areas definitely lend themselves to having like a big heavy weapon versus the smaller like arm blades or something like that. If you're going for groups, definitely the heavier weapons are better because they have really big arcs. But if you're going for... Okay, what are we doing here? Or if you're like going for one-on-one, the arm blades are probably better because they do more damage and like kind of juggle and all that good stuff. Alright, so before we go up there and knock down the first construct ball, we'll go over here and get ourselves a rare chest. A large chest. In these kinds of chests, you have a higher chance of getting, you know, rare items versus like the normal chest with just the skull on the front versus though that has like the skull lid. So those are definitely the better chests you want. And before we exit, we climb up here. Oh, while running on walls, press A to leap nearby walls and continue running. So I guess this is technically the first place you would do it, but chances are that you've done it already. So yeah. Popping 101. And that, you know, sort of thing is definitely in Prince of Persia. Push down the ball. Get in the slot, get in the slot, get in the slot, get inside, get in the slot, get in the slot, get in the slot. Oh, yeah! Booyah! And that's 1 out of 2. Now we get to go up here. Get ourselves another Boatman coin. 22. Boom. Dungeon map. So now we can see everything. Yay. Okay, so first thing we're gonna do is go get a chest that's kind of hidden behind here. Although it's quite clearly marked on your map. So yeah. Anyway. Defense 18, no. Okay, so I don't know if I've definitely said it before. I don't know if I've uploaded anything with it before, but I'll talk about it in a second. And that's how limiting the actual like popping mechanic is. Boom. Suck it. Do I want another one? Yes, I do want another one. Grab another one first, and then come over here. And actually, I'm going to store it like right here. I'll come back and grab it in a second. But we're going to roll the Maker's Ball. What's the Maker's Ball? The Construct Sphere. Over here. And you can also like use the right trigger button to kind of flash it, you know, send it flying, but we don't need to do that yet, so we're not going to. So you want to do is you want to set it up right here against the gate. And this is actually the first puzzle that actually took some thinking. This is the first puzzle that I got stuck, and I was like, yes, this game has awesome puzzles. So then you can either go back up, grab a bomb, or grab the one that you brought down already. Throw it on that side. Make sure it's up against the gate, otherwise it won't get enough distance on it. Step on the button. Boom. Go in the hole! Go in the hole! Oh! Oh, I guess we'll have to settle for an eagle. Golf reference, heyo. Anyway, because like I was saying, like how limiting the popping mechanic actually is. So like, you think that obviously Death can jump and grab onto that ledge. I mean, obviously it's high enough. Hell, he's even like, his arms are that high. You know, duh. He should be able to get it from any direction, but no. The only thing there's like an edge thing, a ledge grabbing thing is right there. So that's the only way to get up. And that's just like really frustrating to me. Like, it shows how limiting the mechanic actually is. It's only designated to area. Makes it feel like less open world, and they're really kind of trying to shove that because of how big the first two main worlds are, and at the same time, it's also extremely limiting. But anyway, I digress. We just solved an awesome puzzle. Yeah. And now we get to go and it's on the first air duct, tier duct, whatever. Air duct. What? I'm just like going crazy with associations in my head these days. I don't know what's up. Maybe I'm just a crazy person. I don't know. So let's destroy some more pottery, grab some potions, destroy some stingers that I can hear but I can't see. There it is. Okay. No, you're not. I'm gonna summon my ghoulies so you get distracted. Dodge! And then we're going to handle out this hive. Ooh. Wail on the hive. Make sure to keep on moving, otherwise the stingers will get you pretty bad. Show you one more left. Yep. Wait, come on, redemption. Boom. Any more? Nope, all dead. Ghoulio. And if you don't have the ghoulies, that's fine. Just keep on moving. Use teleport slash every once in a while, and you'll be good to go. Uh-oh, Savage Prowler. Double Savage Prowler. Nah, I feel like using ghoulies again. Hello! Eat coffin, Savage Prowler. I must say that definitely my favorite secondary weapon is the heavy ones. It's because of the knockback on them and the area of effect damage. Alright, so you might have actually seen that corruption from down there. And you can destroy it using that Shadow Bomb if you like, but there's also that Shadow Bomb right there, so you don't need to. The water flows! Yay! Alright, guys. That's gonna be it for this episode after we get one more chest. That's down here. Down in the water. Or down the water duct. No! Bad popping. Bad popping. Bad popping. Okay. Good. Skull touch phase. Yucky. I've actually gotten a possessed weapon there before, but there I got nada. We're gonna write it down. Boom. Go down that way if you haven't already. You can if you want, doesn't really matter. And now we get to see what the water does. Ooh. There's like a little current. Oh, that's cool. Now we know where to go. But even though we know exactly where to go, we're gonna get a little thing that says, hey, holding dust will summon dust. Holding dust will summon dust. He will hit the correct path. Okay, yeah, I had no idea where to go. Show me, buddy. Okay. Wait, we're supposed to go over there? Wait. Okay. See, I don't think that's supernatural. I don't use dust all that often, except if I'm really lost. But yeah. Anyway, alright guys, thanks for watching. If you like the spreadsheet guide, make sure you're a subscriber and send me a PM. And I'll show you exactly what we get in each episode, all that good stuff. Otherwise, again, thanks for watching. This has been Kuddlesnot, and I will see you again next time.
This is no place for a horse.